Hello and welcome to Taking You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I am your co-host, JP John Paz, for the Two-Man Power Trip. And we are joined today not only by the Doctor of Desire and one of the greatest trainers of all time, former WWE World Tag Team Champion, 8-time Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Champion. We are joined by Heath Slater, the former WWE Tag Team Champion, the former Legend Killer, former member of Nexus,
Hey, not
and
only
the students
that,
of the JPWA.
Yeah, JPWA represent too. How about that?
Dr. Tom, tell us who's with you behind you from the JPWA.
Yeah.
Tell us who's with us. Who's there?
There's him. There's here. There's the St. Danes. There's the Hollywood Heartthrob Andrew. Who else? SoCal Kid. Who else? Is that Brad? We got Macho Brad. Who else? Hollywood Cohen. Smiling Jack. Got the Kuda Messiah. Yeah.
So who's
we got
the
all
next?
kind of stuff. We got some bright lights. Yeah, we couldn't get this functioning well, but I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We'll make the best out of it. Yep.
So who's the next Rock? Who's the next Angle? Who's the next Heath Slater of these guys?
They're not here yet.
Yeah.
They're their own selves, my man.
Yeah, not yet. We don't have any Heath Slaters here yet. Although we do have some craziness.
They got some potential for sure.
Yeah.
Heath, what are you doing down at JPWA?
I am trying to get better myself, if you want me to be honest. I've been hurt for the last year. I've got the okay to get back in the ring and start, light stuff, moving around, hitting the rope, starting to try to bump, all that stuff. And
gotta keep the phone in there, John. We have sorry, John.
So I'm down here. So Tom will get me back in the ring and move me around a little bit. Tell me what to do. I'm getting my confidence back.
Are you feeling 100% yet, or you're getting there?
Baby, I'm never gonna be 100% again, but I'll be a damn good 85. That's better than most guys around here. I don't mean around here. Yeah, over there, man.
Dr. Tom, what do you think about him coming to JPWA? I mean, that's pretty good. Big time star coming in there training with you guys.
I think it's tremendous. Yeah, I mean, anybody who wants to come by and just get in the ring and try some stuff, we're always up for that, and that's cool. Especially somebody wanting to come back in and just see where they're at, see how they're feeling. Yeah, no pressure, man. That's usually what you got to do. If you don't have a swimming pool, you have to go where there is one. So we have a ring, nice ring, 20 by 20. We got some guys ready to just not try anything ridiculous, but just get in there and move around. Just see how you feel. I mean, I don't know how deep we need to go in the injuries or things like that, but I mean, sometimes you find yourself at a place where you need to do some laps and just get some reps in and go a place where you know that nobody's going to try and be a cute guy or a cute girl.
Yeah, sure.
And you don't want to be taking your body on a ride that it doesn't need to be on. And you want to take your time and run around for a little bit and see how it feels.
As you can see why I came here. I live in Charlotte, about 4 hours, so I'm up here for 3 days, just knocking some rust off.
What was the training like tonight? What'd you guys do?
Well, we did promos tonight. Heath came in and watched and talked, and again, just going through the moves isn't all you need to know about wrestling. So you need to hear somebody else's perspective and their insight. That was that tonight. And then tomorrow is when we're going to get in the ring and actually see how he feels. Breaks a sweat in this beautiful Knoxville heat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Heath, when did you first meet Dr. Tom? Was it Deep South?
It was.
It was Deep South, man.
As soon as you came in.
Look, John, we used to do this place called Bourbon Street Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And I have a routine. It's like this. It's an idiot thing. If you ask me something, I have to start from the beginning. If you interrupt me in the middle, I got to go back to the beginning. And it annoys people. So Heath asked me that on Bourbon Street one time, and then I got fucked up. Pardon me. I messed up, and yes, and I had to start back at the beginning. And he thought that was amusing. So, so I understood my quips and qualms, but then I played on them so the people would say, he's out there, and that's why they know where to catch me. Out there. Yes. Yeah. Not anywhere close to the dock. I'm in the deep waters most of the time. That's why he came here, because nobody else wants to swim that far out.
That's true.
And I'm always there.
He's always in the deep end.
You ain't kidding.
I still remember the first time when Doc came to Deep South. It was as soon as they, cleared house with trainers and everything, and they brought Doc in. And I remember the trainer before had like his own little group of people that just, did everything that he wanted to do and everything. And I remember when Doc first came in, he got up in the ring, and a few people refused to get in the ring. And just because their loyalty was somewhere else. And I remember me and Kofi Kingston slid in the ring. And next thing you know, Doc was like, all right, lock up. Let's do some drills. And we just started it off and kept going. And it was just one of those things where it's like, you have to break the ice. But I was that eager, young, hungry kid just wanting to learn and just wanting to get in there and everything. And then ever since then, man, Doc's just always been there for me.
How long were you in Deep South before Johnny Ace basically showed up and turned it over and said they're not using Deep South anymore?
I was going to Deep South even before I was signed, because a buddy of mine named Prue Jones was getting looked at. You remember Prue Jones? Yeah. Good looking dude, great worker, all that. He was getting looked at, and me and him did all the shows around Georgia together. So they wanted him to bring in a babyface. So he brought me up there. So he just was like, dude, just come in, get your foot in the door, but, you got to put me over. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. So I went up there, man. They just kept asking me to come back. I just kept coming back every Thursday until, I pretty much was up there for about 5 months of doing that, and then I got signed.
Did Johnny Ace sign you? Was he the one that gave you the contract?
Yeah, Johnny Ace looked at me and told me to grow my hair out because he didn't have any long redheads. I said, okay. And then I just started growing it out. And he literally came back and found me and said, you listened to me. I was telling you to grow your hair out. I want you to keep growing your hair out. I'm going to get you a tryout. And next thing you know, I was signed to follow like 2 weeks later.
What do you think about Johnny Ace? Me and Dr. Tom love him. We call him the greatest wrestler of all time. But what do you think about Johnny Ace?
Yes, not an insincere bone in any of our hearts.
I can honestly say Johnny's always been good to me.
And let me say for the record, too, Johnny's been good to me for the most part. And I appreciate him firing me in the first place because it gave me a different perspective of where I didn't want to be. So he couldn't save me the last time, but I understand. No worries. I'm not mad at John. I'm not mad at anybody. I love the world.
I do too.
And everybody in the wrestling world, John.
Right?
Yes.
Everyone.
Every single one.
Big happy family.
Yes. Oh yeah. That's exactly
right. Mm-hmm. Honestly, Johnny's been good to me. He always has. He gave me my job. He's always helped me on the way. Johnny was that guy that the guys that he signed, he always looked after up there because he pretty much it was like his stamp was on us type deal. Yep, that's my hire. I hired him type deal. But no, Johnny was always good to me. And then Johnny would bullshit a lot too. He's a great bullshitter. So I would call him out on it whenever he was bullshitting me, and then he'd tell me the truth. So it was just
that's what everybody does there, by the way. Just call them out on their lies and they'll tell you the truth.
It's a fact. Even when it's dude, I know you're lying to me. I know you are. But you just got to call them out sometimes on their bullshit, and then you get the truth out of it. And then again, you don't even know if it's the full truth.
It's every single time they tell you the truth. Even when they get caught. It's truth. You're hearing it right here.
That's true.
He knows.
Yeah. That's been done to me too many times. But like I said, Johnny gave me my job, and he was always good to me. So, he didn't fire me. That was Carano. So, but Carano had to. He's Mr. Middleman Heater. Everything goes through those. Now I think it's John Cone up there. You remember John Cone? Oh, love John Cone. Best. But now that John Cone's that guy to where he has to tell you the great news and the worst news. So it's
But what you forget is somebody has to tell him.
That's a fact.
It's just a delivery, man.
Don't kill the messenger.
Yeah, don't kill the messenger.
It's the shittiest job up there. Excuse my language, but it's just a horrible job whenever you have to be smiling and frowning at the same time because their job's a double-edged sword.
Did you know Bob Clark?
Bob Clark.
Yeah,
I do know him.
Yeah, yeah. He never smiled. He just frowned.
Well,
and he fired a lot of people and thought he knew.
Yeah.
Who the hell is Bob Clark? Who's Bob?
You don't know Bob Clark? Oh,
no.
Well, he was the guy who Carano took over for, and Ty Bailey was the guy somebody else. Anyway, Bob Clark was just a fella.
You brought up Ty Bailey.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Oh man,
I won't bring up anybody else in that position. So anyway,
yeah.
So when Deep South ended, though, were you there when like everybody had to take everything apart? And
oh yeah, baby, I was there for all of it. I remember. Man, it was
a good day, wasn't it?
Right?
Everybody was looking around at everybody, and everybody wanted to know what was going on.
Nobody
could tell you what was going on because they didn't want anybody to know what was going on.
Yeah,
that's terrible. It was a horrible day.
It was one of those days where we literally had practice that day, and then we left, and then we had to come back suited up in suits because Johnny Ace was coming and he had a message for us. And we're like, well, shit, we got to look nice. So I got, my best $20 shirt and jacket I had, and I then went up there, and next thing you know, man, it was like he came in and he was like, hey guys, we're going to Tampa, Florida. We're shutting stuff down here. There's a U-Haul in the back. I need everything out in that U-Haul tonight. And afterwards, we're all going to go to Hooters. And we were like, what the hell? So man, literally, we're all in our suits, carrying boards and the rings and the posters and the everything out, loading that damn thing. Mike Bucci.
Yes.
Simon Dean drove it to Tampa that night. Next thing you know, after we load up everything, Jody Hamilton was there watching us carry everything out. And that was his baby.
It was his deal. Yeah, it was not a good night for a lot of people.
It wasn't.
It was very uncomfortable for everyone. But that's what it was.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, it was just walking on eggshells every time you picked up something and took it out the building. And then you went to movies and we drank beer and ate wings until we damn threw up. So, yeah. I mean, not literally, but ate so much damn food.
What happened with Jody, though? Jody says he got into some sort of disagreement with Vince, and then it just decided to end. What happened with Jody?
Well, there's many stories behind the whole why Deep South got shut down. I know of 3 different stories, so I just want to say I'm gonna believe them all, and then it just hit the fan and it left.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the whole Jody thing, I felt like Jody felt like he was trying to make a new WCW or something with this developmental talent and thinking that it was all his. And he made the mistake of just doing it his way and what he wanted instead of doing it the way that they wanted to do the system. But I don't know the full story.
Dr. Tom, you know something. You know everything.
I know something, but I can't be sure either because I was across the street calling my mom when that was going on. It was. I'll tell you what happened with professional wrestling at its finest that day. It was exactly, And then when it visited me a few years later, I went, "Hey guys, I know this routine. I've been through it before." So it's not an uncommon occurrence when it happens. When your number's up, your number's up. It's just like it was like a mafia hit. Without the blood and guts. Although there were some tears and some blood and guts, I think, when we left.
Yeah.
But it was a different time, a different place, and a different era.
Very true.
Yeah. It's like we would walk into our favorite Italian restaurant looking over our backs. Just because that's what happens in all the mafia movies. You look over your shoulder.
Damn shoulder.
Yes, that's right. And we ordered another bottle of wine, and he said, "Wine? The hell are we?" So until we were back in West Virginia for a minute.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Tom, we were talking about Heath a few weeks ago. He was the subject of the show. You said he had the it factor when you first saw him. What was it about him that you first noticed that you thought he had it?
Well, he gave it to some of our guys tonight. He was talking about you have to have the confidence, you have to have the belief in yourself, and he did. He was one of those guys that believed in himself from day one. So when you call him Happy Heath Miller or Happy Heath Slater, handsome Heath Slater's happy hour, handsome Heath Miller.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
You gave me a lot of that.
Yeah, but he would just get on the mic and he would talk, and he wasn't afraid to talk about anything. Didn't matter what it was. Didn't have to make sense. I remember he had a cowboy hat on one time. They said too much like Shawn Michaels, and I thought, wait a minute, I don't think Shawn's wearing a cowboy hat right now.
He wasn't.
But that's how it works. You know, he just tried something and tried the next thing and tried the next thing, and then it was. How did you get the gimmick? I have kids, or I got kids. That was an accident.
That was a total accident too.
That's what I'm saying. So that's another example, another something to look at and say, well, wait a minute, they didn't write it that way. No, they didn't write it that way. It just became that way. So he's another example I use, another person I can point to and say, look, it's not going to go perfect, but somebody's going to hear something and go, I love that. Keep using it. So,
and that happens a lot too.
Yeah,
and it's like the whole confidence thing is that, like, you know, Doc was always on my side, and he would put me in those positions to where he would make me cut a promo and then tell me, all right, that was good, but cut another one. Then I'd try to cut another one. He's like, it's the same shit you just did. Cut a different one, you know. Just like we just did today with, I don't even know if he's here anymore. Yeah, over here.
Oh, yeah.
So Tom,
that guy.
We had promo class today, and Tom made him do it a few times, and then he had him do something off the wall. And I remember him doing that stuff to me. Kid back here probably thought, "Oh my God, he's giving me hell." Oh no, you know. But it's tough love sometimes, you know. And you learn from it, and it helps you. And he would throw me in front of these daggone Bourbon Street, drunk ass people, cigarette smoke in the air.
And that was just a dressing room.
Yeah,
right. The other guys, the crowd was whoa.
They were on everything. Christ. But so like I remember my music would hit, and I would have like this flashy gear, long red hair, shades, a dress shirt that's unbuttoned, just shaking my hips, shaking my hair, humping the ring post. Like people would hate me from the get go. Like, who in the hell is this dude? I'd grab the mic and I'd have like a high pitched voice, like handsome Heath Miller. Ah! And I would stretch it out until I would run out of breath. And the people would just hate me. And I would just run my mouth. And Doc's just like, keep it up. They want to kill you. You know, so it was just fun. But if he didn't give me that opportunity to get in front of the people to get that out and everything, I don't know, you know, how much of confidence I would have had. But just getting me out there in front of those people and just letting me do my stuff, man, it just helped me out a lot. With
the next step, obviously, FCW, right? That's where you guys you take all the Deep South stuff, you head to FCW. What was it like training with Dr. Tom at that point? Because is he very hands-on or is he kind of standoffish?
Oh, no, he was hands-on, man.
Whoa, you don't know the story?
Yeah, we don't need to tell the story.
I made a puke with a broken leg. My leg was dangling by a thread, and I made a puke. After 4 hours in the ring, the hot sweat, and I wouldn't let him stop after 7 hours in the ring. Just me and him, my leg dangling there by a thread.
Yeah, you know, whenever you hear that story, well, back in my day, that's what.
I wrestled with 2 broken arms, 2 broken legs, broken hip. Yeah, I still beat Luthez in 5 minutes. No problem. Yeah.
So what's the real story? You broke your leg and you still were able to beat Heath?
Man, Dr. Tom got in the ring, tripped over the rope, and broke his leg. He was so nervous, you know.
I was terrified. I didn't know what to do into.
Hey, so Doc would always do these 1 hour Broadways. So he would literally make 3 guys, you know, or 6 dudes, you know, 3 matches, usually 3 hours, and they would put on a Broadway match. So you would literally be in the ring for an hour. I'm literally just coming back from surgery, off of meniscus surgery. I was 4 months out. I'm healing. I'm doing good. Doc looks at me. He's like, hey, man, we're doing a Broadway. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, we're going to go an hour. I'm like, well, shit. Okay, I don't know if I'm ready for this. So next thing you know, we get in the ring. We're working. 7 minutes into this match, he calls a backdrop. I'm like, nah, man, back elbow. And he was like, give me a damn backdrop. I send him off. I give him a backdrop. Boom. All I hear is, oh, shit. I turn around, I look, he's like, pin me. So I pin him, 1, 2, kick out, grab a hold. I grab a hold. I'm like, you okay? He's like, I think I broke my fucking leg. I'm like, what?
I don't recall using profanity.
Oh, shit. But he was like, man, my leg. I think I broke my leg. So, hindsight, he goes 52 minutes. 52 more minutes in this Ironman match. You don't even got the right
I don't
fingers
even know
up.
how to that.
Not even close.
And then at the end of it, we went the whole distance. Sleeper holds at the end. I've had to drop Tom, and I had to dive out the apron and throw up outside the ring because I was done.
I won.
And then next thing you know, he goes to the doctor. He broke his ankle. Was it your ankle?
Yeah, my ankle, man.
Broke his ankle and had to walk around this big ass boot for like, how long was it? Forever?
4 weeks. Forever. 4 or 5 weeks is like that. 4 or 5 weeks.
As soon as he got it taken off, he handed it to me like a trophy, and I still got it today.
Like a bowling trophy, man. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very nice. Those days don't happen anymore because no, I'm not going to say. The PC is a great place. It really is.
So you didn't get blown up though, Dr. Tom?
I don't get blown up, John.
Oh, all right.
I know how to breathe. I know how to work, John. I don't get blown up.
As you can see, I didn't like that.
But that was what, 9 years, 10? Is that almost 12 years?
12, 13 years.
Jesus God, man. So think about that. That's been
13 years, maybe. Damn, yeah.
Man. Yeah, it's been a while. So, and then my last one.
Or is that breathing?
What's that?
Is that pacing or is that breathing? Like you
it's
pace
both.
yourself?
It's pacing and breathing.
You have to
I'm not nervous. I'm not afraid. I don't care. You don't scare me. He's not intimidating. He wasn't intimidating me. I was not. He couldn't scare me. He tried, but it didn't work. It's that breathing. It's that pacing.
As you can see, 7 minutes in, I broke his damn leg.
Yeah.
And he still whooped my ass.
And I said, to hell with that. I'm not quitting, because then everybody would say, oh, you pussed out in 7 minutes. And I was bound and determined to show them.
Hey, and everyone was watching, too.
That's right.
I mean, the whole class.
Yeah. So I can tell people that story, but there's just a few who witnessed it. And it's a true story.
Are you still doing 1 hour Broadways, though? Are you still doing it?
Dude, it's been a while. It's been a while. I did 50 minutes with a couple different people not too long ago, but
that's pretty much an hour.
Well, I did 50 minutes, and I said, I think it's a little hot here. I hope I'm not getting heat stroke, because it was like 98 outside and 190 inside. It's like, holy Christ.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Who was the last Ironman?
It was Rick Victor. Were you there for that? Well, the last 60 minutes when I did in Tampa, Rick Victor of, what was the name?
Ascension.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh man, I can't remember a lot of shit these days. But anyway, and how that came about was Rick rolled out and said something to me like, "Get out of my way, old man." And I told these guys tonight, you just got to be careful, because not everybody takes kindly to that. And I hit him with the clipboard and broke it. And I said, Monday we'll find out who the old man is. And then before I thought about what I said, everybody heard what I said. Bill Lamont was there, and Bill came in and watched it that day too. And I went, oh, geez. And I was doing the moonsault where they moved, and I was never a moonsault guy, as you can tell. But I did a moonsault and had Rick move, go for a false finish, and we did the old Steamboat Flair false finish that looked just like them too. Yeah, we looked just like Flair and Steamboat.
I'm sure.
On a false finish, so that was good. but Rick was one of those guys I liked hanging out with too, because he got it. You know, so every time he come boxing, he'd call me too, and we'd hook up, go eat or something. So yeah, he was the last official Ironman. Last official.
Did you win or did he win?
Dude, I won just getting in there. I just wasn't going the distance. That's my point. I don't have to pin anybody.
It's like Rocky 4, you know, he just wants to go the distance.
Right. Just trying to get my ass through it, and it's all state of mind. You know, an hour is just an hour. It's what you do during it. And if you just rest, relax. I don't mean rest by not doing anything, but you got to know what to do so nobody knows you're breathing. so nobody knows you're actually taking your time. But you still have to move.
It's 100% pace and balance in that match, man. That the whole pace sets it all.
Yeah. So then when you get to do 15-minute matches, or even you get to do 20-minute matches, you don't think about it.
No.
But that takes a while. So that was the purpose of that. If you make it through an hour and tell me a story, well, that's how we determine if you're ready or not. I mean, that's not the only thing, but that's one of the things.
That's one of the things when you know, hey, this kid got it. He can go and handle himself.
Yeah, nobody bitches about it. Nobody says, "Oh no." It's like, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm sure they didn't relish it, but but we usually ate our Wheaties and had a great power drink before we went in.
Very true.
And it was everything, you wanted it to be for practice. At least in Tampa. John, you have the beach. You have the sunshine. It's not too big, not too little, not too small. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a lot of fun. And then, the social places are right over off of
Gandy.
Yes. Whew. So, a lot of fun.
Tampa what was the best thing about Tampa was when we had to first move down. Because one, we didn't have a facility. Two, they literally said, haul all your shit. We're going to make sure we cancel your lease here and give you enough money to move down and grab a place. And they literally said, just find a place in Tampa. So next thing you know, we all bunked up with some buddies, went to Tampa, and then the spots that we found, we didn't do nothing for 3 months, 2 months, 3 months of just having fun in Tampa and getting paid for it. So we're just like, holy crap, heck yeah.
Yeah. So our days were looking for buildings, but we still had fun.
Our days was at the beach and going out all night.
Yeah.
All night.
Degenerates.
When you settled in on the training facility, I guess Steve Kern finds it. What'd you think about it? Because you hear all the stories, you see the documentary. Not the nicest place in the world to train.
That wasn't even the first one. We had a baseball.
Oh, yeah.
We had a baseball
batting cage
area where they literally rented out cages, and we put a ring in there.
And the Bellas came the first day we were there too, in batting cages, and they didn't know what to think.
Hey, there'd be kids all around us hitting balls while we're in the one cage with the ring wrestling. And then once we would get done wrestling, we'd go and hit balls too.
Degenerates.
That's
all they were.
We were.
Yeah.
It was fun.
You think about WB, this big monster, then you're like, yeah, I got signed by WB. You're training in a baseball facility with batting cages.
Well, now, wait just a minute. You have to realize prior to that, they were in McDonough. Yep. So, there wasn't much of a difference. I know there was. They had a nice building there, but at the same time, it was a transitional period, and we were looking for just the right place.
For sure.
And while they were looking for, we found a place adjacent to the warehouse that had the cans and stuff. And I don't even know if Jimmy was the guy next door. I just know, hey, yo, Jimmy. Jimmy, what's up? So, it was, once you understood the process and once you understood the people who came before Steve and myself, like Eddie Graham and Hiro Matsuda and Bob Root, I'm not comparing myself to any of those people, but I will say those are the people that were running Tampa before.
Yeah.
And it was a little hometown feeling to it. So,
it was like we were on our own little private island of wrestling down there. No one knew about us but people in Florida. But it was good product because we would pack out our shows when they would come to the school, and all these. Go ahead.
But the point is, nobody was supposed to know about developmental like they do now. It wasn't necessarily going to it wasn't, the model wasn't supposed to be a national TV like NXT is now. The model was to get everybody TV ready, but not let them be seen yet. So when they show up on Raw or SmackDown, they're special and different and haven't already been seen and spoiled and all that good stuff. So that
OVW model, basically.
Well, somewhat, but OVW had not major, but network TV, I guess, in Louisville, and people in Louisville knew him. Some people knew him in Tampa, but again, Tampa was that odd city that wasn't too big, wasn't too small. You had the radio stations talking to Steve, and you had other local TV stations
Yeah.
sometimes get interested, and some of the Bucks came by, and there's a couple people who used to come by on
What was
Thursday
his
night.
name? Allstott?
Yeah, whatever.
What?
It used to be a
Mike
couple.
Allstott, yeah.
Yeah, I remember he
A
came
few
by.
people
He was
come on
awesome,
by
yeah.
and just say, hey, check it out, and hang out.
Yeah.
Then when you'd be out, sometimes you'd see people go, aren't you at FCW? And they'd say, well, of course.
I remember whenever we started getting more popular and everything, it was like whenever it was like my halfway through my career there. I remember us always going out, afterwards, getting drinks, going to bars and stuff, and the bouncers would always know who we were and just let us right on in.
Yeah.
And like, come on in, have fun, come on in, and all that stuff. To where they would come to our shows also, and we would just do the favors back and everything like that. But it was like they took care of us down there.
Yeah, but that's the way the whole wrestling scene was treated, even back in the 70s and 80s, and probably in the 90s. They were still running, but it just kind of came about that way too. So it was a good vibe.
And you got a lot of free food whenever we first went to the FCW spot, because any dented cans they couldn't sell.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So we would always get corn, green beans, baked beans and stuff that were dented, and they'd be like, "Yeah, you can keep them. We got to throw them out." I'm like, "You got to throw them out? No, heck no." So we would take them home with us and just eat it.
Heath, what'd you think about the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, who was a
Oh,
big time down there?
Man, Dusty, to me, Dusty was always really nice, cool, charismatic as hell. He would always help us with promos. Like he was always like the promo guy, and he would always write, the stories and stuff, with everyone else about the little TV shows that we had there and the little product that we were doing. But Dusty would always be, all about promos. And I would love Dusty because he would let me literally go out there and say whatever the hell I wanted and do. But of course, you had to keep it in the lines. But yeah, he was always entertained by me. I think he would always give me good criticism and not like beat me down at all. But I've never had a problem with Dusty at all.
Seems like he would probably run a better promo class than somebody else we know. I don't know. What do you think?
Wait, who?
Oh, nobody.
I don't know. It went over my head, man.
Yeah,
Dr. Tom, I'm saying. Do you think?
No.
I know what you're saying, man.
Listen. I'm saying, because Dream, I think I might have told this if not, but occasionally I would take the guys out in the main ring, and I would talk to them before we get in the ring. We had 3 rings in the back, and somebody else might have been using them, I guess. But I remember Dream walking through to the tunnel and coming out. They come on, Doc, give me some matches here. Give me both of them. Give me some matches. I said, I got to match my ass in your face, thinking he didn't hear it. And thinking he just went in the office and didn't hear what I said. But the next day he walked in and let me know he did. And he made sure every diva came and sat in my lap and gave me a hug. And made sure that they all asked me if I was having a good morning and saying hello to me, because if there was one thing I just couldn't stand was cheery, happy faces coming in on a morning sometimes, and he knew that. But he was making sure. Yeah, what you did. Hall of Famer. Drink, tell me. So anyway,
I was told by somebody, Dr. Tom, that you used to bust Dusty's balls a lot. That's actually true, I guess.
Well,
they both would go back and forth all the time, man.
Yes, I love the Dream. Dream loved me too, because when I got fired, he was calling me on a weekly basis just to check on me. So when he passed away, I had just talked to him like the week before, and that was out of nowhere. Because I saw him on it was WrestleMania weekend when he was doing the interview with Maria, whatever her name, the Maria.
Menounos, yeah.
Yeah, and he wasn't looking well. I called him, asked him, and we had some words, just said some things to each other, and I said, I'll talk to you next week. And never came. Yeah. So, we had a great rapport after we got past the smart-ass part, but that was part of it, because he was having fun. I was having fun. Right before TV, I would go to Publix, right across the street from the arena, and I'd get this big bowl of watermelon, and we'd sit there and eat watermelon. and crack on everybody and tell jokes and just have a blast the entire night doing TV. And that I wish that model was still around. It's just not.
Man, honestly, they were two old friends that just gave each other shit all through the years, and they just still can't stop doing it.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
That was it.
So you would sit back and just watch them and be entertained.
Yeah, they're having fun, and that's
Exactly.
what wrestling's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I actually did an interview with Dusty 2 days before he passed. Had no idea anything. Like, he sounded great, and he was awesome in the interview, joking around and stuff, making fun of Larry Zbyszko, of course, like you have to. He was awesome. And then the next day, I thanked him again and detected nothing. I had no idea. And then I heard about it, obviously, the day after that he had passed. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I think everybody was shocked. Norman called me, and I was real. I couldn't believe it. So, yeah. No, I don't think we'll ever get another Dusty Rhodes again. Of course, there can't be another Dusty Rhodes again. There's only one.
With Heath, when he gets called up and they do that NXT on TV thing, do they call you, Dr. Tom, and say, hey, is this guy ready? Can he be on TV? Is that something that happens?
Well, they gave us a list of guys they wanted, and he was on the list. Joe, Bo Rotundo. Who else? Was Bray on the list?
Bray
was on the list as Husky Harris.
Yeah. I think they gave I heard the whole story. They gave y'all like 14 names.
Yeah.
And y'all picked whoever y'all thought.
Yeah, I think that's how we do. And occasionally we would do that. So send who they wanted, and then ask if we thought they would be welcome.
I mean, even before I went to NXT, like, I was going up there for dark matches, on the live events and going to TV and just doing dark matches. And I was up there working like guys like Noble, Jimmy Wayne Yang, Val Venus, like those guys, Finley, all those guys every other week type deal, because they would always they would send me up for like a little tour. I'd come back for like 2 months or something, send other guys up a little bit here and there. But I was up in and out a little bit, and then once the whole NXT thing and they got us all 8 in the other ring and told us about it, I just remember Johnny Ace told me I had to change my name because I was Sebastian Slater at the time.
That's right.
And he was like, yep, we hate Sebastian. We need you to have a new name. And I remember I gave him every damn name, every first name I could think of. And there's probably about 40 first names that I just botched down. And I gave it to him, and he turned every one of them down. And I'm like, well, shit. Like, what do you think? He was like, I don't know. You got another one? I said, what about Heath Slater? And Heath being my real name, I didn't think he even probably knew at the time. He just was like, yeah, that's great. Use that one. So that's how I got to use my real name on TV, because they didn't like Sebastian. And right before I was going to go to NXT, I had to change my first name. So I'm
crazy.
Got away with using Heath.
We're getting behind the scenes of how they pick these names here. They're so random.
Yeah.
No, actually, we do a lot of mathematical calculations, and then we put them through the dictionary, and then we somehow they click out the perfect name.
Perfect name.
It's done every time.
Well, if you think about it, like, some of the names are horrible. Like Dolph Ziggler, originally, you would think it's a terrible name.
That was my name I came up with.
Oh, it's horrible.
Dolph Ziggler. I want to call him Dan Riceford. I want to say Dan Riceford. That's got a catchy name.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all remember Dan Rice?
Yes, Dan Rice.
Well, Heath, when you go to do that NXT thing, I know it's a lot of cheesiness with like not so much wrestling. The other stuff was cheesy, like the little games. You got to pick up the beer keg and all this stuff. Minus, I mean, you beat Jericho. That's awesome. But that other stuff is pretty corny.
It was horrible. I mean, it was stupid. It was one of those things where the way that we got told it was going to be like a points system thing. Like, you win by pinfall, you get this. You win by countout, you get this. And whoever's the best, whatever. But then it turned out to be, like a game show to where, you're doing obstacles, you're carrying kegs, you got to juggle, you got to do a promo on a word that you don't even know what it is, and then they tell you in front of thousands and millions of people, and you're just like, well, shit.
Hypergluperoceros.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know that definition.
So it's like, it's just like they try to set you up for failure and throw you in the fire just to see how burnt you're going to get, but then, hopefully you can get out. So that's the way I looked at NXT. Yes, Nexus came from it, and that was damn amazing, but like the shit that we had to deal with, like honestly, we wasn't even allowed to dress in the locker rooms. We were literally dressing in broom closets.
Wow.
All NXT.
Why is that? That's crazy.
Because we weren't allowed in the locker room yet. When we were allowed to get in the locker rooms when Nexus came.
Back in his day.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, we were not allowed. Like not even step foot in there. And if you wanted to go over the match, you had to wait for you see him in the hallway, and you would literally be like like say if I'm working Edge, like hey Edge, is there anything you want to do? Is there anything you want to talk about? I would leave it up to him. Like, well, you tell me, that type deal. But like you wouldn't, like we were just like extras.
Great. Yeah. And you're about to go over Jericho on one of the shows too.
Well, even when I beat Jericho, we were still in the broom closets. Attention.
Yeah.
Like it's just I don't know. That's just how it was. It was the Wild Wild West still back then. Yeah.
Did they tell you that the Nexus was the end game, or they didn't tell you that when you were going through the show?
We thought we were going to go back to FCW, either get fired or hopefully have another run down there for a little bit. They didn't tell us anything. They didn't tell us anything until it was like we all went to Miami for Raw. And Wade was the winner, and I knew Wade had to have a promo, and we all were just there with our thumbs up our butt, just like, well, what are we here for? They say, Vince put us in his office and told us, hey, y'all going to go and do all this shit. You're going to wreck it. We want you to destroy it. Here's armbands. Don't tell no one. And we're all just, what? Huh? What's happening? And then next thing you know, Michael Hayes, Arn Anderson, and I think it was Laurinaitis actually, told us exactly what they were wanting to do. And the only person that was in on it was Cena and I think Punk, and that was it. And then next thing you know, we went out there and made moms and babies cry.
That was pretty amazing if you think about it. It's like, well, what the hell are these guys doing? They're out for revenge, but you tear up the ring. You're beating up Justin Roberts. You're beating up Punk. You're beating up Cena. Quite a debut.
We beat up everyone. And that was orders. They told us if anyone steps, the only thing they told us not to do was to touch a camera and to touch a fan. That was the only two things they told us not to do. Don't touch a camera, don't touch a fan. We said, well, everything else is like destroy everything. If anyone comes to you, take them out. So we did.
Pretty amazing debut, you think about it.
It's pretty cool. It was really cool, being honest.
When you look back, I mean, that's quite a turn. It's like, okay, we're dressed in the broom closets, then we're destroying the show and beating up the two biggest names in the company. I mean, it's quite a reversal.
Oh, it was a total reverse. But I feel like we all deserved it because we didn't bitch at all. We ate the shit sandwiches and kept going. And this was a nice little payoff for us.
Michael Hayes, you mentioned. I have to mention this. Dr. Tom is not a fan of the Fabulous Freebirds. I don't know if you're familiar.
Hold on just a minute, mister. We've been through this before over and over. I'm a huge fan of the Magical Firebirds. The Magical Firebirds is one of my favorite tag teams. And Michael B.S. Haynes is one of my favorite Magical Firebirds. He does magic. He performs miracles on the road and off the road. I've seen him do holy water communions and stuff like that. So there. So you can try all you want to get Michael B.S. Haynes stirred up again, but
his holy water is gasoline moonshine.
That too. So there you go. Bless all of them.
You want to see the ghost go, and that will come out of you.
That's true.
It will.
So
Heath, would you rank the Freebirds in like a top 5, or would you completely ignore them and pretend that they didn't exist? Because of the
I definitely.
Listen, hold on. Let me just stop here. Heath and Michael have a long story history and a long story past. It's an open wound still, and sometimes it's festers and caroons out. But Michael is very, very special to Heath.
in many ways.
So the fabulous Flybirds mean something to him in his heart. Yeah, fabulous Flybirds.
Let's just say they hold a special place in my heart.
So there you go.
So you guys are probably on the same page with not liking the Freebirds. Okay, I get it.
No, we love the Freebirds.
Yeah,
And I want to go on record as making sure that my voice is stamped on here saying, I love the fabulous Freebirds. And Michael B.S. Haynes is one of the most charismatic showmen ever in our business.
Genius.
And he's definitely somebody who can tell a story and get away with it.
Get away with a lot.
And get away with a lot, as a matter of fact, on shit that we would all get fired for. But I love you, Michael.
Yeah, baby. Freebird.
I got to mention this for Heath, though. My favorite gimmick or my favorite angle with you were you were doing the legend killer. Remember, you were kind of like that Randy.
Oh, hold on, man. I wasn't doing the legend killer. I was doing the legend builder. See, I was building these guys back up again, you know?
Yes.
There is a difference. There's a big difference there, you know?
But you were awesome in that role, though.
Dude, that was my, like, a childhood role for me. Like, when I got to Raw and I saw I was working Vader, I 100% thought it was a rib. You know, I thought it was going to be like a little guy come out dressed I had to, you know, lose to or something. Next thing you know, I realized, yeah, you're working Big Fan Vader. I'm like, holy shit. So then the whole story was leading up to Raw 1000. Legend comes in each week. They just was going to feed them guys just to, you know, just have them look good and stuff. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, let me be the guy. Let me be, you know, exactly the legend builder. Let me go and talk junk. Tell them they don't need to be here. They're old, out. And then let them just demolish me. Like, I don't care. Like, this is going to be awesome. You know, so that's exactly what happened. So I remember I was with Mike Rotundo with Vader, and after the match and everything, I went straight to Vince, and I was like, Vince, listen, man, I want to do this each week. I want to be the anti, you know, legend guy. Like, I don't want them being here. Like, I pitched my little deal, and he looked at me and was like, you would want to do that? You would want to lose to him? I'm like, yes, I don't give a shit. Yes, like, I want to wrestle all these dudes, and I don't care if I lose or win. Like, this is a dream come true. But, dude, like, literally, like, down the line, like, I had Sid's first match back since his broken leg. I had Vader's last match, you know, in WWE. Me and Piper had one of his last segments there. Sidney Lauper busted a record over my head. I beat Doink, but it was Brawler. DDP had a daggone, you know, diamond cut me after that. I worked Rikishi, Animal for Legion of Doom. There's probably more, man. Damn, I'm bragging on myself. No, that's good. It was a lot of fun, like a lot of fun. And like the childhood in me, like the kid in me was just smiling ear to ear, you know.
Lita, too. Remember Lita beat you?
Yeah. And then, you know, all of them came out and whooped my ass.
Yep.
JBL, funny story about JBL. Remember the clothesline that he gave me that night with Lita, and I had to do a handstand on my head? So right before that, I was walking out to cut a promo with Lita, or I was about to walk out to cut my promo. Road Dogg looks at me. He's like, hey, I dare you to go to JBL and tell him to lay that shit in. I looked at him. I was like, watch. He's like, you won't do it. I said, watch. So I walked by JBL, and I was like, JBL like tapped me on my butt, and he was like, good luck out there, kid. I was like, hey, make sure you lay that shit in. And my music hit, and I walked right out. Bro Dog said that he like his eyes got real big and looked at the court or the entranceway, and then he looked around like, did y'all hear this motherfucker? So then he went down there and took my head off. Yeah. So yeah. But it was still a funny little story.
Was there an end game to it, like for you? Like, were you supposed to eventually like beat a legend, or what was like the end game to it?
But I didn't even know there was an end game. The end game was when Randy Orton came back and I was challenging all the legends, and then he came out and killed me. So that was pretty much where it ended.
Those were some of the best parts of the show, though. I mean, that usually every week that was something that, you know, me especially as a fan were like looking forward to. That was so good, so entertaining. They
were telling me that it was one of the highest ranked segments all through those weeks. I mean, of course, the pop from the legend coming back, but I'm just happy to be in that role, you know, stirring the pot, being with it. Of course, I know it's for the legends. That's a fact. But just me being attached to it was just awesome and fun to be with and be a part of.
But if they're beating up people nobody cares about, then it's like, it's not that great of a nostalgia. But if they're beating up somebody that the fans do care about, it's like, okay, this is awesome. I hope this guy gets his comeuppance every week, and he's such an asshole. You know, that's what kind of made it good too. I mean, that enhanced it.
It was. I try to do my part for sure.
Dr.
Tom, how come you were never used in that role there to get beat up?
I got my ass beat every time. They just didn't want to feature me. I was not. I just wasn't really featured as strong as the NXT guys. But hey, we didn't have NXT back then.
Yeah,
I was lying.
So what's the story, Dr. Tom? What's the story with I Got Kids? Where did that come from?
With who?
I Got Kids.
Oh, what's the story behind that?
Yeah.
Well, the story behind the I Got Kids thing is that I had a segment with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar back when I was trying to get a contract as a free agent. So when they give you a segment with Paul Heyman and you know it's going to go 15 minutes and you know it's mainly talking, they give you like 6 pieces of paper and it's just verbiage. So I'm trying to get all this verbiage in. I can't remember it, to save my life, but I'm trying my best. So I'm spitting out there with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's spitting with me. I spit back to him. He's talking, and I just have a brain fart. And I'm just like, oh, shit. And I'm sitting there thinking like, it'll come back to me. He gets done with his line. It don't come back to me. I'm like, damn it. And so I have to shoot from the hip, So I literally said something of the sort like, like, everyone here knows I'm going to get my ass whipped. I know I'm going to get my ass whipped, but I got kids and I need this job, and I just went with it. And then next thing you know, I get in the back and Vince was like, I got kids. I need this job. I love it. And he just starts cracking up and everything. And then next thing you know, I get a T-shirt. I'm winning the tag title, which was supposed to have been the IC title. Then he changed his mind. And then I'm a trailer park dude, white trash with 30 kids. So it's like, I don't know what happened, man. I said that line and I turned into Kid Rock without money.
Well, it's not so bad. Yeah. Sometimes he has a good time too with no money.
Yeah, that's true.
Supposed to be IC title too? I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. I had this whole pitch to Vince and he went for it. It's supposed to have been Hillbilly versus Hollywood with Miz. So it's supposed to have been like some stuff where like MVP and Matt Hardy did, where they would try to one up each other. So me and him would do it, and try to one up each other to where he accepts to give me a match. But if I don't win and if I don't, get the title and all that stuff, then I'm out. I'm gone. I'm fired. But I beat him, and I get the IC title. I win it. Hooray. And I even told Vince, I said, Vince, I don't even care if you have me lose it the following week, man. Just let me grab it one time. Let me have it. He was like, I love it. Yes, let's do it. The next thing you know, we're starting to go that route. And then it says, ooh. And then I'm damn tag champ again.
Don't worry about a thing. We're not going anywhere. We're staying in Tampa. We're good.
Yeah.
You're just over paranoid. You're overthinking it.
Yeah.
That's all they said.
Seems like that always happens. They tell you one thing and then another thing happens. They're telling Warlord he's facing Hogan at WrestleMania. And then, obviously that never happened. You know what I mean? They're always
listen, man. We can't bend the universe when it's meant to go this way. We can't bend it the other way. If the universe is meant to have its way, we're not the ones to stand in front of it.
Heath, you had some other great moments. Obviously, the 3-man band with Drew and Jinder. The 1-man band, which was awesome with yourself. But what do you think about the 3-man band? Drew, obviously having much success. Jinder now back. What do you think about that pairing or that trio?
Man, the good thing about that is that it wasn't supposed to happen that way, but we're all 3 actually genuinely good buddies. So it worked out for us. I mean, hell, we were in 3 on B for damn 2 years and booked all the time, doing, all the crazy stuff that we did do. But it was just a joy to be with them because we're actually friends, So it was easy traveling. We all worked out. We all ate, at the same places. So it was like easy traveling with us. But damn, we had a damn good time though too. Many stories I can't talk about.
Yeah, well, the statute of limitations aren't up yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But no, that was a damn good time, man. I love those guys forever.
Dr. Tom, Drew won the world title. Jinder won the world title. Don't you think Heath should have been a world champion as well for WWE?
Well, if we're talking tag team, of course he was a world champion, though. But yes, he should have been the world champion. It would just made a 3B that much better. But sometimes plans don't always come to fruition. You just have to learn to roll with the tide. They all roll with the tide.
And I have to get fired first and come back to even win the title. So if I have to, kill the prophecy the way they did, I'm on the right path now. So give me a few years. I want to spread my wings and have some fun first.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned Carano gave you the release. What was the reasoning? Like, why did you get a release?
Man, they told him, they just called him pretty much, was like, yeah, man, I've got 60-some people I got to release. Like me and Carano, we always got along, you know, like we always talk cool, but he's a little shithead too. But like he kind of was just like thrown back, being like, man, I hate to do this. I don't want to fire you, you know, like that type deal. And I was like, you telling me after damn 15 years the damn virus took my ass out? And he just was like, yeah, this and that. We're doing all these cuts, you know. And I talked to him for a little bit, but it was just like, oh, well, all right, man. And then when I done the thing with Drew, when I came back, they offered me another deal to sign me back, to where I'm just like, what the hell? But it was like half my contract. So I'm like, man, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go over here and do my thing for a little bit.
So that was just going to be a one and done, or you made it into a one and done, basically?
No, man. Drew called my ass for about 3 weeks trying to get me to do it. And I kept telling him no. Yeah, I'm like, dude, I don't want to go back. I don't want to do it. And then a writer called me. I told the writer no. And Drew called me again. And then me and Drew just talked. And he was like, even if you don't want to get signed back or whatnot, just come and do this with me so you can have one little last hoorah and do your thing. So then, I mean, he's like a brother to me. So I'm like, you know what, damn it, tell him I do it. As soon as I told him, he called the writer called me. I talked to the writer. They got me down there. They wanted me to do Raw, What You Saw, next Raw wrestling, Dolphin losing, and then show up at some horror pay-per-view thing. Some horror pay-per-view that they did where Dolphin Drew worked. And then I told them, I said, if I'm going to do it, I'm doing this one thing with Drew this way, and I'm not doing the other two. So I got down there, and they handed me a script, and I handed it back to him. And he was like, oh, you don't want to read it? I said, no, I got what I want to say. And then he says, can you just mention one thing? And it was about the bump show that I was on. And I said, is that it? And he was like, yeah, that's the last time you talked to Drew. I said, all right, done. And then I went out there and just said what the hell I wanted to say. It was one take, too, so I was proud of that.
Is that one of those things where you should have your creative freedom? I mean, they always say nowadays, you know, you got to read the script. Is that, I don't know, like a comfort to you?
Know, man. When they handed me that script, I knew I was fired anyway. So what are they going to do? Fire me again? I'm like, baby, I'm going to go out there and say what the hell I want to say. And I mean, I'll stay within the lines, but damn it, I'm saying it my way, you know? So I was like, hey, y'all can just send me back home. I don't care. I got to see a couple of my buddies while I was down here, so I don't have to do this.
You could pull a Ric Flair. Fire me. I'm already fired. Remember that great promo?
Exactly.
Do that, yeah.
I could have definitely done that.
But just thinking back at like your run there, 4-time WWE champ, 24/7 champ, FCW Triple Crown, you happy with the way things worked out? I mean, obviously, minus you didn't win the world title, you didn't win the IC title, but were you happy with your run there for 15 years?
Man, for me being a small town boy with the only dreams was being in a coal mine, you know, for like everyone around me, I thought outside the bubble, I guess, instead of inside the coal mountain bubble. And I feel like I did damn good for myself. You know, like I don't know that many people that could say they were there 15 years straight from developmental until they got fired. And I didn't burn no bridges. You know, I'm not that type of dude. Like, I'll tell you straight up to your face, like, hey, man, this is how I feel. This is what I'm thinking. And, you know, let it be done. But do I think it's my last little go around? No. I'm 38, just turned 38. I mean, my buddy Edge came back at 48. So I kind of feel like, you know, with the storylines that still could be in place with me up there, that I kind of feel like I can have another good 2-3 years for sure. But until then, I'm going to have a damn good time doing what the hell I want to do and growing myself in ways that I couldn't up there.
Dr. Tom, what do you think about one of your prize students? What do you think about his run?
Well, he did have a good run. Had a good time. Had a good run. Made enough to get a house, raise a family. What more can you ask for? Living your dreams is pretty much the check mark for me. If you had fun, got to do what you wanted to do. You know, come from West Virginia. If you've ever been through West Virginia, right? I mean, my God. So, yeah, I think it's a great thing. And I tell everybody, I think it's great if you can live your dream, do what you want to do. Do it, man. Don't let anybody stop you. It's 3 people, those who try, those who do the best shot, those do whatever it takes. That's really what it takes, along with confidence and understanding. It's a work. Life's a work. That's what you got to realize.
I talked to Eddie Sharkey recently, and he said he was lucky to have some guys on his resume, Road Warriors, Rick Rude, etc. And he said it makes him seem better because his students ended up so good. He said sometimes he was a little lucky with who's on his resume. Do you feel that way about Heath?
I feel that way about everybody. Everybody I've had the opportunity to come across, and even if it was one day, I feel lucky that they were there, and if they heard one thing, that's great. If they didn't hear anything, I totally understand. But you know, you got to keep searching until you hear something that connects with your brain, and you say, "Oh, now I know which way to go." So yeah, I think I feel fortunate, lucky, whatever you want to call it, for everybody I've had a chance to come across in this insane business. Even the assholes. There've been a few of those too.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
I still don't think Doc knows or understands how much all of us looks up to him and thanks him for everything, just because Doc ain't that, braggish dude and all that, but I can honestly say there's everyone holds him dear to their heart. That's a fact.
Hell of a resume for you, Dr. Tom. Hell of a resume for you, Heath. Heath, do you have this book, by the way? Dr. Tom's book.
I do.
I sent that to him afterwards. Yeah. But you know what? If you're not like Heath and you don't have the book, you can actually go to jpwrestlingacademy.com. It's on the front page. Just click on the link and you can get it, no problem. jpwrestlingacademy.com.
Nice. Of course, Dr. Tom, you're on Pro Wrestling Tees. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com. Visit your store. Visit the JPWA store. Heath, what do you got for plugs? Where can everybody find you?
Man, I'm on Pro Wrestling Tees too. I'm just enjoying the Pro Wrestling shoot video that they just got coming out. Cameo, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. When it comes to merch and stuff, it's pretty much Pro Wrestling Tees. I sell rainboard stuff, shirts and stuff from when I do Instagram stuff. Other than that, that's about it.
Nice. Dr. Tom, you got anything else coming up?
John, right now I don't. Actually, I'm going out to next weekend, so we'll have to figure out some of those tickets. That's it. This is Altoona for Imagine Wrestling. We have a show, I believe it is Saturday night, Friday or Saturday night. I don't have my book in front of me, so I really don't. But it will be Altoona next weekend.
Nice. Great stuff. Thank you, Heath. Dr. Tom, thank you as always. And we'll see you right back here next week on Take You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. See you next week, folks.